You ever stand in the mirror and not recognize the face staring back? Not because it's changed, but because you know you've been lying to yourself. Telling yourself you're fine, that you're strong. But strength isn't born in comfort. It's forged in chaos, in the trenches where no one sees you bleeding. Real strength demands a price, and not everyone's willing to pay it. You want to be great? You want to be unstoppable? Then look around. What are you willing to leave behind? Sleep, comfort, friends who don't believe in you? Because strength doesn't come gently. It comes through war, the lie we tell ourselves. You tell yourself you're doing your best, but deep down you know you're coasting. You know what you're truly capable of, but you've buried it under excuses. That gut feeling, that discomfort when you're alone, that's your potential screaming at you, demanding more. You lie to your friends, telling them you're focused, but you know you're stalling, watching life pass, stuck in neutral, because taking the wheel means facing every fear you've avoided. That face in the mirror isn't the enemy. It's the ghost of the man you could have been. And every day you delay, that ghost grows stronger, mocking you, daring you, until one day it replaces you completely, the boiling point. Eventually you snap. You get tired of faking smiles, of saying, "I'm okay," when you're rotting inside. You get tired of waking up already exhausted, soul tired. That's when change begins. Not when it's convenient, but when it's necessary, when the thought of staying the same is more painful than the grind to change. That's your crucible. The moment the old you dies screaming and something new is born. Something hungry, ruthless, focused, a man no longer seeking approval, but conquest. A war within you. Realize strength isn't about lifting weight. It's about carrying pain. Carrying your regrets, your failures, your past, and turning them into fuel. You stop blaming your upbringing. You stop waiting for motivation. You build discipline out of nothing. You become your own rescue plan. And it's terrifying because there's no one left to blame. Just you and the battlefield of your mind. That's where the war is won or lost, not in front of others, but in silence, sweat and scars. And every victory you earn there, no one can take that from you. Becoming the storm, the two. Man in the mirror starts to change, not overnight, but slowly. He holds his head higher, his eyes harden, the weakness fades, and in its place stands someone forged by fire, not fantasy. You don't chase motivation anymore. You are the dam. Motivation. People start to notice. They ask what you've been doing. But they'll never understand the darkness you walked through to get here. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Because you're not done yet. You're just getting started. And this time, you're bringing the storm with you. The first sacrifice. The first thing you'll lose on this journey is your comfort. The warm bed at 6 a.m., the safe route, the easy choices. You'll have to burn them all. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Picture this. You're dragging yourself out of bed while the rest of the world sleeps, lacing up your shoes in the cold darkness, heart pounding, not from fear, but hunger. That hunger is the first taste of strength. You skip the party, you miss the hangout, you don't get applause, you just get results. And that silence, that's where monsters are made. You're not choosing comfort, you're choosing conquest. The death of easy is dead. The old version of you that chose sleep over sweat, fun over focus, that version is gone. You buried him every time you stepped into discomfort. You don't negotiate with the snooze button anymore. You kill it. Your mornings become a battlefield. Cold water, steel resolve, a mind sharpened like a blade. The world still sleeps, but you're already bleeding progress. No music, no audience. Just work. That's how warriors are built, in silence, in darkness, while the rest hide under the covers. If you're not ready to kill comfort, you're not ready to win. Hunger becomes your friend. You crave. Progress like oxygen. Food tastes better after a grind. Sleep feels earned, not stolen. Every step out of bed becomes a declaration of war against your former self. You run when your legs scream stop. You lift when your arms shake. You study when your brain is fried. And when your body begs for rest, your mind stands tall. This hunger isn't just for success, it's for domination. You're not here to survive, you're here to conquer. The more disciplined you become, the more isolated you get. People stop calling, you stop explaining, and at first it stings, but then it strengthens you. You realize solitude is sacred. You're not lonely, you're sharpening your edge. While others waste hours, you invest them. You learn, you grow, you become dangerous. Not because of what you say, but because of what you've endured alone. That's where real power lives, in the places no one's willing to go with you. Silence of victory. There's a special kind of silence when you earn what no one thought you could. No claps, no trophies, just you and the quiet satisfaction that comes from doing what needed to be done. You begin to enjoy the solitude. The grind becomes art. Pain becomes poetry. And comfort? It's just another weakness you left behind. You realize most people fear silence because that's where the truth lives. But not you. You sit in it like a king because you paid the price. You gave up comfort and earned clarity. Losing people. Next comes the people. The ones who don't get it. The friends who laugh when you say you're chasing something bigger. The family that tells you to be realistic. Let them. Because you're not living for their approval. You're climbing a mountain they'll never even try to scale. It's lonely, yeah, cold, isolating, but isolation breeds clarity. You'll start to see who's real and who's just around when it's easy. You'll have to walk away from some people and it'll hurt. But pain is the price of power. You start with a crowd, but the higher you climb, the quieter it gets. At first, everyone's clapping, everyone's cheering, until your ambition starts to make them uncomfortable. You're not supposed to outgrow the cage they're trapped in. You're not supposed to want more. They don't say it out loud, but you feel it. The jealousy in their silence, the passive-aggressive jokes, the sudden distance. They'll call you obsessed. They'll say you've changed. Good. You were never meant to stay the same. Let the circle shrink, because the ones who are real, they'll rise with you. The rest will rot in comfort. It's not always strangers who doubt you. It's the ones you love the most. The ones you thought would ride with you no matter what. Their words cut deeper than your failures. Why don't you get a normal job? That's unrealistic. You're wasting your time. And it hits hard because you wanted their support. But listen, they're not evil. They're just scared. Scared of your courage. Your ambition forces them to confront their own inaction. So let them go. Or love them from a distance. Because loyalty to your vision must come before loyalty to their fear. Some people aren't bad. They're just not built for where you're going. They don't dream like you. They don't suffer like you. They don't understand why you disappear to work, why you ghost the party, why you grind in silence. And over time, you realize it's not personal. It's just necessary. You don't owe explanations. You don't need approval. You don't need to babysit dead weight. You're chasing a future, and not everyone deserves a seat at your table, especially if they never brought anything to eat. Let them fade. The path to greatness demands separation. And then you're alone. Not lonely, just alone. And it's in that silence you hear your purpose clearly. No more noise, no more opinions, just you and the grind. You start to love your own company. You stop chasing validation. You become your own support system. And when the world finally sees you win, they'll say, "He changed." And you'll smile because they never knew the pain it took to transform. Let them talk. You don't need them. You needed this. But here's the darkest part. The real battle is inside you. Every doubt, every whisper telling you you're not enough. Every time you compare yourself to someone farther ahead. That voice, you've got to strangle it. Not coddle it, not reason with it. You grab it by the throat and say, "Not today." Because while the world may not believe in you, you better believe in yourself. You better show up every damn day like you were born for war. Because you were. You hear it at night, the voice that whispers, you're not good enough, that you'll fail, that you're faking it. It mimics your tone, wears your face, knows your fears. It lives in the mirror, and if you're not careful, you'll start listening. That voice doesn't need truth, it feeds on weakness. It uses your past, your shame, your mistakes like knives. But you don't run, you fight. You speak back, not with words, but with work. Because when the inner war is won, no outside force can break you. You scroll, you watch, you compare. You see people who are ahead of you, more ripped, more successful, more perfect, and suddenly your grind feels small, pointless. But that's a lie. You're not on their chapter. You're writing your own damn story. Their highlight reel isn't your reality. So stop measuring your worth by someone else's wins. You weren't built to copy, you were built to conquer. Comparison is poison, and the antidote is action. Stop watching. Start becoming. There's a version of you that wants to stay safe, small, palatable. That version avoids risk, dodges discomfort, lives to please. But he's not you, not anymore. He's a leftover shell. And every time you avoid the work, he grows stronger. Kill him. Every day you show up, you bury him deeper. The real you, the dangerous you, is clawing his way out. He's silent, focused, unapologetic. Let him out. Let the world meet the version of you that doesn't flinch. You weren't built for peace, not the soft, fake kind that comes from comfort and avoidance. You were built for war, spiritual, mental, emotional war. Every day is a battlefield, against doubt, laziness, weakness, but you carry your sword. You sharpen it in sweat, tears, and pain. You march into every battle with a grin, because you know what you're made of. The war inside you isn't a curse, it's a gift. And when you embrace it, you don't just survive, you dominate. You either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One hurts now, the other hurts forever. Discipline is skipping the drink, hitting the gym, sticking to your word even when no one is watching. Regret is looking back 10 years from now, wondering, what could have been if you didn't quit? Picture that. You at 50, staring out the window with a dull ache in your chest because you settled. That's hell. You want peace later? Fight now. You want freedom? Earn it. You want strength? Bleed for it. Comfort feels good now, but it's a debt that always comes due. The problem is, by the time you realize what it's cost you, it's already too late. You can scroll your life away, binge on cheap dopamine, and convince yourself you'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into next week, next month, next year, until you blink and you're stuck. Not because life was cruel, but because you chose easy too many times. You didn't fall behind, you gave it away. And what hurts most? No one cares. The world moves on. That's the cost of comfort. It quietly robs your future while keeping you numb. Discipline doesn't look cool. It's not flashy. No one's clapping when you show up at 5 a.m., tired, sore, and pissed off. No one's cheering when you eat clean, while your friends smash burgers. But that's the difference. Discipline doesn't beg for attention. It demands respect. And that respect comes later, when you're carved from steel mentally and physically, when you don't break under pressure because pressure raised you. The world worships the outcome, but only you know the grind it took to get there. And that silent suffering, that's your edge. It's what makes you different, unstoppable. Regret doesn't whisper. It screams in the quiet moments. When you're alone, when you see someone doing what you could have done, when your kids ask you what you dreamed of becoming and you have no answer. That's the real pain, not soreness or sweat, but wasted potential. A version of you that could have been if you just said no to excuses and yes to purpose. You think skipping today's discipline is harmless? Think again. It echoes, it compounds, it becomes your legacy. And the worst part? You can't. Go back. You either suffer now or suffer later, longer and louder. So what's it gonna be? Burn now or burn forever? One fire you choose, the other chooses you. One builds muscle, grit, clarity. The other builds bitterness, weakness, and stories of what might have been. Discipline is pain with a payoff. Regret is pain without purpose. And you're deciding every single day, with every single choice. Don't wait for motivation. Move anyway. Don't hope it gets easier. Get harder. Life doesn't reward the soft-hearted dreamer. It rewards the savage who chooses fire over and over again. One day, you'll meet the strongest version of yourself. Not in a gym, not in a ring, but in the mirror. And the first thing you'll think is, where the hell were you all this time? That version of you? It's built brick by brick from sacrifice, from nights you didn't sleep, from days you didn't quit, from tears no one saw, from the discipline that felt like torture. But that reflection will stare back with eyes that don't flinch anymore, eyes that know. That's the real reward, becoming unrecognizable in the best way. Every man has two lives, the one he lives and the one he could have lived. And the mirror, that's where they meet. One reflects the truth, the other haunts you. You look into your own eyes and see flashes of the times you gave up, the times you lied to yourself, the times you could have pushed harder, but didn't. That's the ghost. But if you're lucky, if you fight, you'll see something else. A fire, a hunger, a version of you who didn't quit. And when your eyes lock with his, you'll know you chose right. The strongest version of you doesn't flinch at failure. He's been there. He's been humiliated, doubted, broken, and he kept showing up. He's not loud. He doesn't need to be. His silence carries weight. His presence commands respect, not because of his words, but his war scars. He doesn't chase comfort. He hunts pressure, because pressure made him a weapon. And when you finally become him, you'll stop seeking approval. You are the standard. You walk into rooms and the energy shifts. That's power, earned, never given. No one handed you this strength. No shortcut, no cheat code. You bled for it. Every lonely night, every rep, every missed party, every time you chose the path no one else would. That's the currency of greatness, sacrifice. You built this beast brick by brick while others slept, and now you own it. This version of you doesn't beg for anything. He takes what he's earned. You no longer apologize for your ambition. You no longer explain your discipline. You built this life with your bare hands, and now it's time to live it. One day, the war ends, not because the world stops throwing punches, but because you stop folding. You wake up and realize you're not afraid anymore. You've become the man you once dreamed of, the kind of man that younger you needed. And in that mirror, there's no regret, no shame, just a silent nod from a warrior who knows he fought like hell to get here. You arrived, not by chance, but by choice every single day. That's the mirror of truth. And when you meet that man, you shake his hand, because he's been waiting for you. Most people run from pain. The strong, they hunt it. They understand that suffering carves character. That failure is just part of the fire. Think about a sword. It's not sharpened with feathers. It's hammered by fire and force. So go ahead. Embrace the dark days. Those mornings you can't get up anyway. That heartbreak, use it, that betrayal, fuel. Every scar is a badge, a story, a step closer. Strength is beautiful because it's brutal. Pain is not the enemy. It's the mentor most people ignore. It's the coach that doesn't sugarcoat. When life throws a punch, most duck. But the strong, they step into it. They don't just take the hit, they study it, analyze it, let it mold them. Because pain is proof that you're alive, and more importantly, that you're still in the fight. When your heart's shattered, rebuild it with bricks made of grit. When your soul aches, pour that fire into the grind. Pain is purpose in disguise, and once you learn to use it, no one can weaponize it against you. Becoming great isn't elegant. It's ugly, bloody, raw. You'll lose your voice screaming into pillows no one hears. You'll break down in the middle of sets, in the middle of sentences, in the middle of life. And then you'll stand back up, stronger, calmer, sharper. Greatness isn't a highlight reel, it's the moments no one records. The silent breakdowns, the gut-wrenching rejections, the nights you question everything. That's where beasts are born, in the fire, not the spotlight. If you don't suffer for it, do you really deserve it? Look around. Every champion has scars. Every king has bled for his throne. It's not talent that sets them apart. It's pain tolerance. They felt the fear and ran toward it. They tasted defeat and chose not to quit. They bled again and again and kept moving. If you haven't cried for it, bled for it, lost sleep for it, then don't claim you want it. Pain is the down payment on greatness. And most aren't willing to pay in full. But you were built for this. Suffering is an art. Anyone can suffer, but not everyone can do it well. The strong don't just endure, they elevate through it. They let pain sculpt their soul into something lethal. They walk into chaos like it's home. You'll see them smiling with cracked lips and tired eyes. Not because it's easy, but because they know it's working. You don't grow in light. You grow in the shadows, under pressure, through chaos. And once you've survived the worst, nothing else scares you. Pain becomes your weapon, your armor, your edge. Forget validation. Forget applause. Strength doesn't post selfies. Strength works in silence and shocks the world later. Do it for your name, your bloodline, your future. Make decisions today that the future version of you will thank you for, not question. Not everyone will get it. They don't have to. You're not living for likes. You're building a legacy. When you walk into a room, make the walls whisper, "That's him." That's real power, unshakable, unapologetic. We live in a world addicted to noise, notifications, likes, claps. But none of that means anything when you're standing at your own funeral. Think about it. No one's gonna read your comment section when you're gone. They'll remember what you built, who you impacted, what you stood for. Legacy isn't trending, it's eternal. The world wants fast fame, but you're chasing something deeper, something that echoes, something that matters. Real men don't chase moments, they build monuments. And they don't need an audience to do it. Your bloodline is watching. When you wake up at 5 a.m., grinding while the world sleeps, remember this. Your last name is on the line. Your future children, their children, they'll either inherit your excuses or your excellence. You're not just building a life, you're building a standard. And if you don't break the generational chains now, they'll carry the weight later. Your discipline today becomes their freedom tomorrow. Let that sink in. You have the power to rewrite your family's story. So ask yourself, will they remember you as the man who changed it all or the one who stayed the same? Legacy is not built in crowds. It's built in silence, solitude, and sacrifice. It's built when no one claps, no one shares, and no one believes in you, yet you keep moving. Because visionaries see what others can't. You'll walk alone, eat alone, win alone. But eventually, you'll inspire thousands. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be remembered. Let the world talk, let them laugh. One day, they'll study your footsteps. And when they do, make sure every step meant something. Because here's the truth. Flesh fades, trends die, but impact lives forever. The words you speak, the battles you win, the people you lift, that's how you become immortal. Your story becomes a torch, a blueprint for those who come after. That's the real currency. Impact, not influence. Legacy means they speak your name with reverence, not out of convenience. And when they do, let it echo like thunder. Let it shake the bones of the weak, because you didn't live to be liked. You lived to leave a mark. There will come a moment where quitting feels easier than breathing, where everything in your body screams, give up. And that's when you decide what you're made of. Not when it's easy, not when you're hyped, but when you're broken. That's where warriors are born. That's the forge. Push one more rep, one more mile, one more day. That one more becomes everything. That one more separates beasts from boys. It usually hits when you're alone. No music, no hype. Just the deafening silence of your thoughts telling you it's okay to quit. And maybe it is easier to walk away. But easy never made legends. This is the hour most men break. It's 3 a.m. and you're drenched in sweat, mind screaming, lungs on fire, and that's where the battle begins. Not with your body, but your will. When you're past the limit, that's where growth lives. You're not in pain, you're being reborn. Push, even if your hands shake and your legs fail. Push anyway. There's a voice in your head that wants you to stay weak. It whispers lies like, you've done enough, or this won't matter. It's the voice of mediocrity, the inner coward that's been fed by comfort your entire life. Starve it, talk back, say, you don't control me anymore. Because every rep after failure, every step when your feet want to quit, is one more brick in the foundation of your future. That voice wants your soul. Don't give it an inch. It's in this war zone of self-doubt that unbreakable men are forged. You either silence it or it owns you forever. Most will never experience this level of pressure. They stop at pain. You lean into it. That's why you're different. You're not scared of breaking. You're terrified of never becoming. And that fear, that's your ally. Let it fuel you. Most people exist in the middle. You weren't. Built for the middle. You were built for the edge, where champions breathe fire and quitters suffocate. You have to understand, the turning point isn't just a moment, it's your rebirth. And rebirth is always violent. Always. One more is no longer just a phrase, it's your code. One more rep when the muscles are shredded. One more chapter when your eyes blur. One more day of showing up when everything in your life is falling apart. Every one more is a middle finger to the man you used to be. The one who gave up when it got hard. The one who made excuses. You buried that man. And from his grave, a savage rose. A savage who lives by one rule, never fucking quit. So what will you sacrifice? Your time, your comfort, your doubt? Or will you sacrifice your potential, the man you could have been, for cheap thrills and easy days? The price of strength is steep. It costs everything, but it gives you everything. In return, power, peace, presence, the ability to walk into any storm and not flinch, to face life on your own terms, to become the one they warned others about. Strength has a price. Now ask yourself, are you willing to pay it? Picture yourself 30 years from now, sitting in silence with nothing but regret in your heart. You didn't chase the dream. You didn't take the risk. You chose pleasure over purpose. That version of you will haunt your sleep. He'll whisper to you in the dead of night, you could have been more, and you'll try to drown him with distractions, but he'll never leave. Because you can't lie to your soul. You can only ignore it until it eats you alive. Don't become that man. Kill him now before he becomes your reality. Greatness doesn't take dollars. It takes blood. It takes sweat, loneliness, fear, failure, and relentless discipline. You don't buy success. You bleed for it. Sacrifice isn't optional. It's the currency required. You pay with your social life, with late nights and early mornings, with every rejection, every injury, every silent breakdown you don't post about. The weak call it suffering, the strong call it payment. And the payoff? A life you don't need a vacation from. A legacy no one can erase. You don't want to be remembered as the nice guy who almost made it. You want to be the man whose name burns in people's minds. The man who walked into storms and never flinched. The one they feared. Not because he was cruel, but because he refused to break. Every scar you earn becomes your armor. Every failure becomes a sword. When you walk through fire and smile, they won't understand it. Let them fear you. Let them respect you. Because you paid what they couldn't afford. So here it is, the final decision. Not one you make once, but every single day. Will you choose pain now or regret later? Will you die a little today so you can live forever in the minds of those who doubted you? Or will you fade away, another man buried beneath convenience? The price of strength is not a single payment, it's a lifestyle. And it doesn't ask for your comfort, it asks for your soul. If you want to be great, truly great, you better be ready to die for it every damn day, because strength will never come cheap.